What's going on, people? It's Thursday. Mike and I, along with Day Day, will be at Loyal Tavern today. That's in Roswell, hanging out. We're making our rounds around the city and looking forward to seeing you guys out there in Roswell today. Tomorrow, we will be in Athens at Grindhouse Killer Burgers, one of our favorite spots, and right there off of Lumpkin to do our show from 2 to 6, leading into, of course, Alabama coming to town. And that is a huge game. We've got some really good college football games. That is one of the marquee games. We'll talk more about it tomorrow and certainly later today as we kind of let you in behind the curtain, man, and let you see what's going on as we've been talking about a lot of things that are going on in the world of sports. Mike and I, we were up there yesterday at Flowery Branch. And, Mike, it feels like Zach isn't going to change anything, okay?
Right.
But with that said, and the criticism that he's getting, and more importantly, this offense is getting right now, not just from us, around the country. What's the situation with this pistol, man? What did they have to do to make us feel better on Sunday?
Right.
To make everybody just kind of get at ease with what's going on with this offense?
I think the receivers have to do their job. Penix has to do his job. When I asked Zach Robinson about streamlining the playbook, he said, no, it's about execution. When you bring up the pistol in Flowery Branch, everybody laughs. Like they're sick of hearing this. Like, oh, you idiots don't know what you're talking about with this pistol. It doesn't fit the eye test, and they point to, well, we ran for all these yards against Minnesota. Yeah, we could still, you scored one touchdown. They let you have it.
Right.
This offense is dysfunctional in the red zone, so fix it. And a lot of experts, Dan Orlovsky did his video, which has gone viral, talking about why he doesn't like it. Other guys have sounded off. Mike Johnson said Orlovsky was right to a point this morning on the morning shift, also pointed some things he thought Orlovsky got wrong. But all I know is, Carl, we're not scoring in the red zone. And they fired a wide receiver coach when half our receiver corps was banged up in the first place. So I think it was a scapegoat move. I think they've got to put some results out there. Otherwise, they're going to the bye, 1-3.
Yeah, look, when I say we're in the building, but we're not in the building, right?
Right.
And weird stuff happens. And I don't know this. I'm just throwing this out there. Guys, all these coaching relationships, Rod knew Ike Hilliard, they go back to his Tampa days. I mean, they have a relationship. But sometimes we don't know what's going on inside of a building, whether a guy is really doing what he needs to do or not. So I'm with you. It feels that way. But here's the deal. If this works, meaning he gets fired and we start producing, then nobody's going to complain about Ike Hilliard getting fired. If he gets fired like he did this week and we still don't do diddly squat, then everybody's going to say exactly what Mike is saying, which is this is a scapegoat move. It didn't make any sense because nothing's changed. So It's really interesting to kind of I don't know what happened. They'll probably never tell us, Mike. When there have been coaches who have been let go on other staffs we've seen, and we were like, what the hell? What did he do? So I don't know if this was just job performance or the perception of our receivers and tight ends haven't scored, and therefore we have to make it look like, which is what Mike's saying, this is the problem, when in fact, it just may be the offense itself.
Right. Now, again, we're not going to speculate, as Carl said. Other companies, we've seen things where it's an HR problem, but I have no idea. All I know is the two receivers are banged up, and this guy produced some pretty good receiving numbers last year. Ike Hilliard we had Drake over 1,000. We would have had Mooney over 1,000 if not for that concussion the final week. And Ray McLeod, as I said to Coach yesterday, had his best season as a pro. That's a guy you fire 3 games into the following season? And another thing that you and I have talked about going back to the summer, and I know the D-Led from the AJC brought it up, you can figure out your communication problems. You can figure out your play calling if you have the first team playing in the preseason. And I think this goes back to a lot of this sloppiness, a lot of this execution is you're telling me this team, Carl, and Day Oren couldn't have benefited from having this team play 2 or 3 series in the preseason. When things look as bad as they have the last few weeks, it makes you wonder.
Yeah, it does. Guys, it's Dukes and Bill. It's our pre-show. Hanging out here with us, whether you're on Twitch Live, YouTube, however you're accessing this. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Big O jumping in, our engineer, and obviously Day, our executive producer. Want to get you guys' thoughts, man. We're talking about what this team's got to do Sunday to kind of put us at ease. And this has been our conversation since we left Flowery Branch yesterday. We wanted to hear what Coach had to say. We wanted to hear Zach, who spoke to the media yesterday. Okay, they had their say. Now it's like, fine, what are the results going to be? What do they have to do, Day, in your opinion, to kind of chill us out a little bit?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you guys. Do you feel like it, and it seems like it boils down to the fact that they got to get more creative out of this pistol. It sounds like they're going to stick with it, right? Which, okay, fine. because we have seen pistol offenses be successful all across the league, but it just seems like their creativity with the formation is pretty much not there. So, do you guys feel like, there's pressure on Zach Robinson to be more creative with his play calls out of the pistol formation?
Well, look, I don't want him doing a double reverse pass, okay, the first play,
Right.
just to say, hey, I showed you guys, okay?
Right.
I don't need that crap. What I do need is less predictability out of certain formations. So what that means is what you would normally do. If Bijan's to the right of you in the pistol and they're going to hand it off to the right side and try to get on the outside, an example, why don't you run a trap with Bijan on your right side out of the pistol and do some different things that maybe they are not expecting? Mike and I talk about these unscouted looks. Guys, everybody else does it. We're in the same formations, but we're doing things that you haven't seen. When I say creative, that's what I'm hoping for. I don't need Zach doing a damn wide receiver tight end pass.
No, I mean, as we said, I mean, the run to Bijan, the throw, which is an extension of the run game, whether it was a check down or by design, the first play, the third play of the first game goes for a touchdown. And why don't we just get a screen pass or a swing pass to Bijan? Why does this have to be reinventing the wheel? Put your great athletes into place and make plays. Now, Dave Archer, who was on Falcons Radio Network, told us the other day that, it's even like probably, and this is his issue with what happened with Hilliard, perhaps guys aren't even in the right places. I mean, for him to do his job, for Michael Penix Jr., receivers got to be at the right spot. They got to run crisp routes. But to me, I still see every time I watch these Falcons, man, Pitts looks open. How are you not finding a way to utilize him? So, and now we're a team, Carl, the worst part, and Day-Day, now we're generating memes. Have you seen the latest one? Guy's got a do-rag pretending to be Penix going, what's that, coach? Put the tight end in motion 16 times? Run it down to 2 seconds? Because we're becoming a laughingstock. We draft all these guys in the first round, and our offense is dysfunctional.
Well, let me ask you guys this: with the firing of Ike Hilliard and Rod telling you guys yesterday that it was a performance-based move, right? Is he trying to say that he didn't feel like Ike was coaching the guys up enough to where they should be performing at the level where they could be functioning in this offense? Is that what you take from him making that statement?
This is just me, and I know that, Carl, we say all the time, it's hard not to bring the Falcons past into the present, but this is part of this organizational issue. I mean, to me, it's a scapegoat move. The receivers are banged up. That's not an excuse. They got to play, but as Carl says, if you can dress, you got to go. You got to do your job. But to me, this is Ross scapegoating a guy because we just put up one of the most embarrassing losses in the last 10 years.
Yeah, look, I think it's a little bit of both, Dave. I mean, what Dave Archer said to us earlier this week, and I am not broken down the film specifically to see who's getting off the ball, who's getting off the DBs or not. But I'm going to take his word for it and say, guys, we're not running routes hard, okay? So this is all daisy chained together, all right? You've got the communication issues. You're getting play clock running down. You snap the ball. We talked about this a little bit. And now if I've got receivers who already may not think they're getting the ball or whatever the circumstances are, and they're not running routes the way they need to, somebody's got to be in their ass. And if that's Ike Hilliard and he wasn't doing that, because now you're putting more pressure on Michael Penix to deliver the ball when guys aren't where they're supposed to be. That's how mistakes happen. So I'm going to say it's a little bit of both. I think probably if that was the case, if it was job related, that would have been the issue. Ike was here last year. I think guys knew what to expect from him, but maybe they had gotten a little lackadaisical in some of that stuff. And that's why we're not executing the way we need to. And if you're seeing that as a head coach, you're going, that's your job. Like, you got to get these guys right. And 3 weeks for none of those guys to have a touchdown, that's a problem. So I'm kind of in between on whether it's is that the real reason or is it a little bit of this as well? Let's talk about something that we're going to be talking a lot about this weekend, and that is Georgia, Alabama. Look, I'm already getting guys going, y'all know Kirby don't beat Alabama. Well, he didn't beat Nick Saban consistently.
Right, and with the loss last year in Tuscaloosa, 1-6.
Correct. So you're at home. Georgia has the longest home winning streak anybody in the country. The win against Tennessee, guys, as good as it felt, means nothing. Alabama's coming in on Saturday night. They don't give a damn about what you did against Tennessee. And yesterday, Kirby said, and we'll play this for you later in the show today, that Ty Simpson's the hottest quarterback in the country right now. He feels like watching him. He's doing a lot of good things. So I'm not going to say it's a dangerous game because we know how good Alabama can be when they play at their, up to their capability. But Mike, we're headed to Athens. It's going to be fun. A lot of electricity when these games happen. But when we talk about Kirby and how big this is for his program, but also just for Kirby, is it bigger for Kirby than it is for the program? Like, because he has struggled against this particular team. We know why. Again, it was his former mentor. Mm-hmm. I look at that completely different than going up against Kalen DeBoer.
I mean, this game is kind of funny because they're kind of a mirror image right now. Both teams have got explosive wide receivers. Both teams can't rush the quarterback. Both Alabama and Georgia have just got 4 sacks each, Carl. So it seems to me like the over is the play in this one. Zach Branch and Kobe Young and all the Georgia receivers doing their thing versus Bernard and Williams. Ryan Williams, one of the best young receivers in college football. But both teams have really struggled getting the other quarterback on the ground. We saw Tennessee get behind Georgia's secondary time and time again up in Knoxville. Look, Kirby lives and coaches that secondary. He played the position, so he's going to coach them up. But, man, they got to come up with some better schematics to get some heat. So this one, to me, it makes sense to be a 3 to 3.5 point favorite because it's going to be, I think, a very close game.
I do too. And I keep thinking, like, all right, in my head, Georgia at the end finds a way that, they're going to cover the 3 points. Look, Kirby just wants to win. He's not worried about that, but we are because we like to talk about these games from a betting perspective. But I just think they're going to find a way, and it's going to be like more than 3. It'll be 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever it might be. But the other part of this is just like with the Tennessee game. If it is close, craziness happens. What if there's a missed field goal and then Alabama gets the ball back and now they got a chance to go down and kick a field goal? Like, that's the part where it's so unpredictable, and it's why we love the games. But I do like Georgia this weekend. I'll tell you right now, we're going up there tomorrow, and it has nothing to do with us being in Athens. I just feel like this young group came together, and the main thing for me is I have way more confidence right now in the quarterback. Day, I was really skeptical about whether Gunner was going to be that dude. Yeah. That ball he dropped in on that touchdown at Tennessee,
yes,
it doesn't get any better than that. This kid's got it. He's got it.
Yeah, Gunner definitely answered every question I feel that most people might have had about him, especially in terms of can he make the big plays when they're needed. I think the biggest question for Georgia is going to be, can they do what they need to do to keep Ryan Williams from going off again? Remember, he torched them last year for, I think it was 177 and a touchdown. And if we're honest, secondary didn't look that great against Tennessee a few times. So can they do, can that secondary step up and play the way they need to play in order to keep Ryan Williams from having, a similar performance to last season?
Mike, let me ask you, because you were at that game. It's Dukes and Bell, guys, behind the scenes, our pre-show. We're at Loyal Tavern today in Roswell. Come through starting at 2:00. You were at the Florida State-Alabama game.
Right.
They didn't go to Ryan Williams in that game, did they?
No, Florida State did a lot of nickel and dime. Literally, they nickel and dimed him. They basically rushed 3, and then they would blitz. They would blitz the linebackers. But it was a really, I was like, wow. Because Alabama had 2 touchdown drives. And at the first drive of the game, you're thinking it's going to be a long day for Florida State. But they were kind of in a zone which just actually worked. How many times as a fan you go, damn it feels like a prevent defense. But the way they used their nickel and dime, I don't know.
Does Kirby do that? That's why I'm asking.
That's the question, because you're not really generating a lot of pass rush. So do you drop back and just try to pop the receivers and don't let them get behind you, which means there's going to be a lot of yardage, but maybe you're not going to keep them out of the red zone. Because also on the flip side, they had no answer for Castellanos. All that motion, all of the zone read stuff was just freezing Alabama's linebackers, and Castellanos was running free. Gunner, I don't think that Mike Bobo reinvents the playbook, but I do think you can throw some of those little things in there just to keep Alabama on their heels.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the reason why I bring that up is because maybe that was a blueprint to how to play Ty Simpson.
Right.
And with these receivers that are really good, explosive down the field, nothing behind us, everything in front of us. We don't care about sacks today. We're just going to get off the field on 3rd down. And Kirby said this too, guys, and it's kind of interesting. When you go back to the Tennessee game, they didn't have a lot of 3rd downs. And Kirby's point was, usually when we get to 3rd down, we're able to get off the field. But Tennessee would be 1st and 2nd and short, and then they hit a big play and move the chain. So it was rare. I think there were like 8 or 9 3rd downs in the entire game, maybe less than that. But he talked about the fact that you got to get teams to 3rd down. So that's going to be something Saturday night. Getting Alabama to 3rd down, then look, the pressure's on them. now I can do some different things defensively to kind of, screw you up and change things up. We got a big show today, man. Day, we got obviously Barbara Dooley coming on. Can't wait to hear what she has to say about this matchup. But Mike, we also get a chance to talk to David Pollock today.
Yeah, man, David Pollock. And he said, like, some of the things I just mentioned, he's brought up a few times in some of the podcasts and videos he's done, saying, where's the beef? Where's the pass rush with Georgia other than Chris Cole? I mean, who's going to be the guy stepping up and getting some heat on Alabama? It's a concern. Like Dave knows all about defensive line play. So we'll get his take on how Georgia does some of those things we just talked about to keep Alabama's receivers from running for miles and miles on Saturday night. Weather also could be a factor, too. Looks like it's going to be – you want to say it, Day?
Moist. No, I was just going to say that was something I was
Is it supposed to be?
There's a chance. Yeah.
Well, that just somebody's going to put the ball on the ground. That's what that is.
Right.
If it's going to be that.
And maybe this plays into Georgia's favor because, they've been wanting to get that run game really established, and they've got a running back room that's proven that they can really kind of tote that rock. So
I like their running back room.
Yeah.
I the way they showcased it in that Tennessee game, like the second half when they came out and said, screw you guys, are running the ball, and Tennessee couldn't do anything. I think you can do that to Alabama. I think their backs guys are big. We're talking 6 foot, 6'1", 220, 215. Yeah. These are big, stout dudes. I like the run game. I hope Bobo – I hope he doesn't go away from it trying to prove a point.
All right, so much of my days as a weatherman. Apparently the storms we're getting today are going to roll through, shouldn't really affect. So only a small chance for Saturday.
Okay. Hopefully that's good.
That's why
I still need to run the damn ball.
This podcast is not approved by the American Meteorological Society, Carl.
No doubt. We're getting storms today, but all that stuff will be out of here. It's supposed to be a nice weekend. All right, man, look. Join us today. Loyal Tavern, Roswell will be there 2 o'clock. We'd love to see you guys come through. We'll talk Thursday night football. We got a big game tonight in the NFL, but plenty of talk about the Falcons. There's so much that we've got to play for you and let you hear as we were up there yesterday at Flowery Branch, that is. Make sure you're here, man. We'll talk to you guys at 2 o'clock. It's Dukes and Bell.